Oh wow, Jolly Olive's doing another Mets video. Yes, I am. I'm a Mets fan. I like to talk about the Mets. I have a bunch of random Mets knowledge, and this one's about the 2015 Mets. I'm sure most of you know about the wild 2015 Mets, and I'm not going to spend much time rehashing the 11-game win streak, the debuts of young aces, or the crazy trades that carried them through October, because this video is about one player specifically. Before the 2015 Mets would go on their miracle roller coaster ride to the National League pennant, the team entered their first games of the season with loads of question marks. The team had just finished their 6th consecutive losing season, 4th under manager Terry Collins. New young guys were on their way, but the division still looked to be in the hands of the Washington Nationals. Because of their lackluster roster, guys like Kirk had a shot at extended playing time. Yeah, it's a Kirk video. Is this what you were expecting? Well, we're doing it. Captain Kirk was never the greatest player, but he won my heart for some reason. I enjoyed his hair for one thing, long before the long-haired Mets was a regular thing. The guy just had a certain swagger about him, but I could tell if the team was gonna get better that he might not factor much into that plan. But he'd end up proving me wrong in 2015, and he also took his sweet time doing it. In a roller coaster 2015 season for the Mets, Kirk probably had the bumpiest ride. But before we get into that story, a quick shout out for the new subscribers to the channel. The channel's been growing exponentially, and I really can't believe it. 15.5% of you that watch all the videos are subscribed. If that number keeps going up, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but if you enjoy all the videos, please hit the red button below. I've been having the time of my life making all this content for you guys, and I just wanted to keep getting better. So if you enjoy me and the stuff that I do, make sure you hit the red button below. In 2015, the only major addition that the Mets made in the offseason was, this. So, guys like Eric Campbell, Daryl Siciliani, and Kirk were on the active roster and contributing every day, or at least trying to. Kirk started the season 0 for 12 coming off the bench and was an abysmal 3 for 38 in the middle of May through pinch hits and filling in for injured starters, including Michael Kadire, who we just mentioned. Good thing we gave him millions of dollars. He was a starter in just 7 of 27 games he appeared in, but he wasn't effective in either that or a bench role, it seemed. Kirk went 0 for 7 with 4 strikeouts and 2 starts at Wrigley Field, a 4-game series that the Mets would be swept in. Also, funnily enough, the Mets got swept in both regular season series they played against the Cubs, and then swept them back in the NLCS when they met in the playoffs. Just thought that'd be fun to include. Follow me on Twitter. He'd be demoted soon after, and was about to get left behind on a crazy ride. Mets fans liked Kirk, but he simply had no place on a roster that was already anemic offensively. On May 18th, the day of his release, the Mets were 21st in MLB in terms of runs scored, and 27th in OPS. The Mets had a suitor to take him, and thus Kirk was bought out by the Los Angeles Angels to join their bench. However, in peculiar fashion, just over 2 weeks later, the Mets were able to reclaim him. Kirk's time in both of these uniforms was not pretty, and even though he was reclaimed, that had no guarantee that he was going to be on the Major League roster. To that point, Kirk was 6 for 60 on the season, and he registered some very ugly stats on both of his tenures. Also, fun fact, Kirk had 6 hits on the year to this point, 4 doubles and 2 singles. So Kirk was reacquired in June, was demoted, and then called back up in July, and spent the first week back riding the bench, and he got his first start against the Diamondbacks on July 12th. And then he did this.
Neuenhuis hits one well the other way, chasing Peralta back. It's over his head, and it's out of here. His first home run since September 3rd of last year. Neuenhuis cranks another one, deep left center. Back goes Pollock, takes a look, and it's out of here! Kirk Neuenhuis with his 2nd home run of the day. A 2-run shot.
Just kept hitting it further in center field.
Neuenhuis deep to right field, right down the line, headed toward the pole. It's out of here! Kirk Neuenhuis, the first Met ever to hit 3 home runs in a home game.
Somehow, someway, after not homering on the year, Kirk Neuenhuis hits 3 in 1 game to help the Mets win their 4th in a row and climb within 2 games of the Washington Nationals, who currently held first place at the time. Kirk wouldn't get many starts, but his play improved drastically after this game, including a 4 for 4 performance with 4 RBIs against the Los Angeles Dodgers and a 15-2 rout for the Mets. The Mets would soon acquire guys like Kelly Johnson, Juan Uribe, and Yoenis Cespedes to shore up the offense and give it a necessary boost, so the need for Kirk's services was going away around September. But he had one special moment left in the tank, and it would come in one of the biggest games of the season. It's September 8th. Matt Harvey's taking the bump against the Washington Nationals. The New York Mets lead the NL East and can put away the Nationals for good with a win today. But the Mets don't look sharp today. A couple first-inning runs are surrendered by Matt Harvey, who's been solid for the past couple months. He makes a crucial error here to load the bases. Michael Taylor capitalizes, and Yoenis Cespedes has a key error that allows the bases to be cleared and the Nationals to take a 7-1 lead in the 6th. This game is looking like a foregone conclusion. Alright, I know I said I wasn't going to talk much about the roller coaster ride that this team went on, but this game is important, so I'm going to talk about it. The Nationals had an imploding bullpen before the Phillies figured out that it was cool, and they walk in a bases-loaded run here to make it a 7-3 game. Yoenis Cespedes makes up for his error by doubling in 3 runs and making it a 1-score affair in the 7th, and then good old Drew Storen's going to come in to shore up the... Oh, that's another bases-loaded walk. And it all comes up to Kirk Neuenhuis. Remember him from the beginning of the video? Also, speaking of remember Jonathan Papelbon? I mean, before he did that. He's gonna stare down Captain Kirk and give him one to send on a ride.
And Neuenhuis drives one, deep right center field, headed toward the wall. It's out of here! The much-traveled roller coaster season of Kirk Neuenhuis reaches its apex.
Kirk Neuenhuis hit 4 crazy home runs in 2015, none of them more important than this. The Mets completed an 8-7 comeback win and never relinquished first place in the NL East for the rest of the season. The span between his 3-homer game and this monumental home run against the Nationals was the best stretch Captain Kirk ever had in his entire playing career, batting .359 with an OPS over 1,000 and 10 weighted runs created. But this story isn't about a hot streak that Kirk had, it's more about the unsung heroes that go into creating a contending team. Kirk was integral to some of the more vital moments in the 2015 season down the line, and although he slumped at first, he ended up being a key piece in many of the Mets' wins that they needed to take home the NL East crown. For that, he'll always be an unsung hero of 2015 for me. I'm the Jolly Olive, and I'll see you guys next time.